Nestled in the heart of Summit, New Jersey, the Summit Free Public Library has been a cornerstone of learning, inspiration, and connection for the residents of this vibrant community for 150 years. Hello, my name is Amy Behr-Shields, and I am the director of the Summit Free Public Library. Join us as we explore the rich history of the library and how it has grown from its humble beginnings in a rented room to the modern, multifaceted institution it is today. In 1873, long before Summit had a public library, there was an organization of women who delighted in reading and sharing books together. Let's picture a meeting of the Ladies' Book Club of Summit under the leadership of their gifted president, Miss Joanna Matthews, and author of children's books. They enjoyed keeping up with the latest novels and classics, and at one of their meetings, the suggestion was made that Summit might be ready for a circulating library. A group of citizens met in December 1873, and on January 10, 1874, they formed the Summit Library Association. The first board of trustees was headed by William Z. Larned and included several members of the Ladies' Book Club, their husbands, and Jonathan Bunnell, son of Crane Bunnell, who originally acquired most of the property in Summit before it was founded, and persuaded the Morris and Essex Railroad to pass through the area. The books were first kept in Dr. William Risk's small frame house on Springfield Avenue. At that time, Dr. Risk was the only physician in Summit. The library was first open for only 2 hours each Saturday afternoon. In 1878, the library moved across the street to the new school building, which later became Summit City Hall. At this time, responsible persons who were not stockholders were allowed to pay 15 cents a week to borrow a book. In its first 4 years, the library collected over 700 volumes. The first building was completed in April 1891. This building is now home to the Summit Playhouse, one of the oldest continuously operating community theaters in the United States. In 1893, the trustees announced that the library would be a free public library open to all residents, and in 1901, the library became a tax-supported municipal building operating under the New Jersey Library Statutes. Notable figures gave readings and lectures at the library, including Francis Hopkinson Smith, who designed the foundation of the Statue of Liberty, and Henry Van Dyke, who was later United States Ambassador to Luxembourg. Both of them were also authors who wrote dozens of short stories, novels, and travelogues. In 1907, 2 of the Soong sisters, among the most significant political figures in China in the early 20th century, came to Summit for school just across from the library at the Miss Clara Barton Potwin School. Summit's first professionally trained librarian, Louise Morris, said, "The library was evidently a great boon to the Soong sisters. Ching Ling was a great reader. Mei Ling's book selection ranged from Peter Rabbit to Dickens, but chiefly she just loved to just drop in to see what I was doing." In 1942, Mei Ling, then known as Madam Chiang Kai-Shek, First Lady of the Republic of China, wrote a telegram which was read at the Summit Dinner for United China Relief stating, "To all good Summit people, including my schoolmates at Miss Potwin's, with whom I skated, picnicked, and cut paper dolls, I sent affectionate and wistful greetings." Under the influence of civic-minded leaders, it was decided that a larger library should be built in a more central location. The Summit Homeland Company, representing the Bunnell family, donated a piece of land 2 blocks from the railroad station. Andrew Carnegie offered $16,000 for a new library building, which was later raised to $21,000 through one of Carnegie's personal friends, Summit resident William Lyle. The building dedication occurred on May 30th, 1911. The impressive interior featured a bright, spacious dome, a large central desk, and book stacks with tall windows. Story hour for little children became a regular feature of the library's work, a tradition which has since continued at the Summit Library for over 100 years. And the original plaque from the Carnegie Building still stands outside the library today. In the early 1960s, the library faced a challenge that was similar to the one it encountered during the construction of the Carnegie Library, a lack of space to accommodate its rapidly growing collection. It became evident that the Summit Library needed a new home. In 1961, 400 dedicated townspeople enrolled as members of the Committee for a New Summit Library. This committee worked tirelessly to convince the local council to approve a bond issue for the new library. After 2 years of advocacy, the council approved the bond issue on January 19, 1961. The original committee disbanded, and its members formed a permanent group called Friends of the Summit Library. Construction of the new library was completed in January 1964, and the staff, under the leadership of then-director Miss Jane Scott McClure, grew to 17 full-time employees. The dedication ceremony took place on May 2, 1965, with 2 cherry blossom trees in full bloom, which had grown up in front of the Carnegie Library. In the following decades, the Summit Library became a vibrant community hub, hosting numerous events such as school-related visits, film showings, magician performances, preschool story hours, and puppet shows. Patients from Overlook Hospital visited the library annually to enjoy morning coffee and view exhibits showcasing their work in arts and crafts. As technology evolved, the library embraced new resources, including microfilm readers in the 1960s, computer terminals in the 1980s, and eventually offering public access to the internet in the 1990s. CDs and videos were added to the collection, and patrons could search the card catalog by computer. In 1996, under Director Glenn Devitt, there was a capital campaign to raise funds for an expansion and renovation of the library. $1.3 million was raised, in part with a community production of The Music Man. Construction began in October of 1997. The library building reopened in March of 1999. In 2013, under Director Susan Permahos, the library embraced the digital age. During her tenure, the library's expanded patrons access to ebooks, e-audiobooks, and online databases, and offered streaming services and virtual events. The Youth Services Room was renovated, and popular new programs were added, such as concerts in the Rotunda and the Explore Your World lecture series. In the 21st century, the Summit Free Public Library has continued to innovate and expand its services, collaborating with local schools, businesses, and organizations. The library has become a hub for cultural and educational events, such as art classes, craft workshops, author talks, Lunar New Year celebrations, and much more. For 150 years, the Summit Free Public Library has stood as a testament to the power of knowledge and the importance of community, and has evolved to meet the ever-changing needs of patrons. The library has remained a constant source of inspiration, learning, and connection for generations of Summit residents. As we look to the future, the Summit Free Public Library will undoubtedly continue to evolve and adapt, embracing new challenges and opportunities. But one thing remains certain: the library will have an unwavering commitment to provide the people of Summit and neighboring communities with excellent resources, programs, services, and of course, books. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the library's history as we celebrate a cherished institution that has informed, enriched, and inspired the lives of so many.